Welcome back to another episode of Writing Tapes. Podcast Sunday. I am consistent. I am your author, your writer, your host, Desiree, author of the Carter Boys, Sky Sisters, and the Moon series. And I am at least, those are my dogs in the background if you hear them running. I'm at least maybe 4 or 5 chapters away from finishing my last book of this series, and I'm so when I tell y'all I'm so excited, like I'm finally I outlined my last few chapters because I'm like, okay, I know the story's flowing, I know where it's going, I got this, I'm gonna take my time these next few days and just go with the flow. Outlined it, wrote all the chapters, most of it. There might have been one chapter I added because I was like, something's missing. And I kind of feel that same way with the next 10 chapters I outlined, but at least I outlined it to the end. So I'm like, man, hit up 2 chapters a day. If I can do 2 chapters a day, one chapter in the morning, the other chapter at night. There's one that's already written. I wrote that like well before these like 15 chapters I've just put out. But I was like, this seems like it's more towards the end. So I was like, let me just set that aside. And I feel freaking awesome. Like today was just one of those days I woke up, did my little morning routine, little self-care, face mask, all that great stuff. And I said, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to write. Now I'm getting ready to edit some of these videos because I'm getting ready to move the podcast. Not move it to YouTube, but I'm going to add it on to YouTube in addition. So if you guys are listening on YouTube, hey, hi YouTubers. So I am so where I'm at with Skyfall. Let's get into that. Where I'm at with Skyfall. All right. So I sent off probably on December 31st. I sent off because I thought, I wanted to finish Skyfall in 2020. Technically, I didn't finish, but I outlined to the end. And I was like, you know what? I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling good. Let's send this off to the editor. 252 or 254 pages I sent to her. And that's just like a little over half the story. So I said, hey, look, I'm going to send this to you. It's not complete, but I need it back as soon as possible. And when you're done, let's swap. I'm going to look over your edits and you look over the last part of the story edits. So you're not overwhelmed with a 300, 400 plus book. So I sent that off, and I always, the way to tell if a story is going to be good, if I'm writing it, I need to have like major events that happen, like not even shock value, but just like something that's like, chapters that are running on 100. Like the energy is there, it's pumped, it's drama, it's just a lot of stuff is happening in this particular chapter. Arguments, fights, cheating, sex scenes. Those are like heightened sense of scenes. Like those are, I'm so bad at explaining this, but it's a way to tell if a story for me is going to be good or not. Because you'll have your dry moments, you'll have your chapter fillers, and readers are getting good at telling what's a filler. Like what are, how authors are just adding this in just to take up space. They're getting really good at telling that. Just like unnecessary content. You have your fillers, you have your supporting scenes where they support the bullshit, the drama that's about to happen, and then you have your climatic scenes. You have your peaks, so I like to have a healthy amount of peaks. And I feel like if I have that, the story can continue to go. The car can keep on running on this highway until I'm ready to stop. And normally when this car is going, I'll stop at a rest area, take a break. Those are your filler chapters. Those are your supporting scenes. Things are happening. You're not really moving, but it's still something happening. You're still on the path to going somewhere. And now I finally made it to my ending. Oh God, I'm so happy. So yeah, I like to try to figure out if I have enough climatic scenes for the story to be good. And I really think in those 252 pages, at least every other chapter is some crazy shit going on. Not even crazy, just really good stuff happening. Just really good stuff happening. So you're not, it's always, constant flip the page. Oh my God, I got to put this down. I got to chill because it's too good. It's too good right now. It's too good to read. I have to take my time with this. That's what I want. That's what I want. Plus, the faster the page flips, that's how authors on Amazon, they get paid. They get paid by these flipping the pages. So that's how I try to decide if the story's good or not. So now that I've got a healthy amount of climatic scenes and dramatic stuff happening, I'm like, okay, we're good. The story's done. The story is, it's good. It's healthy. It's growing. Now we're done. So now I sent that off to the editor. I'm working on my dogs are getting ready to come in here. So if you hear a door screaming, that's my door creaking open. I'm working on the last, final 100 something pages, maybe not even 100. Yeah, it might be. It might be 100 plus pages. I know this is going to be the biggest book I have. And that part I outline. Everything is just organized, it's in order, everything's intact. So the last thing I wrote this morning was Bodhi getting back at what happened to his wife on the interstate. Now, I opened the cafeteria up on January 1st, I want to say. Yeah. And it was a nice little debate going about, not even debate, it was just a post to just talking about adding characters to a book, to a series, or how I add characters, adding new characters to an already established series. Now, personally, I don't do that to annoy readers. I really don't. I just do it so I can keep writing. Because if I have to write about the same 4 people over and over, just creating drama, I'm going to break them up, bring them together again, break them up. There's only so much I can do. It's only so much I can talk about with Pia and Homer. Their story is set in stone. Jasmine and Percy, they got it together. I'm going to give him a nice little cute little wedding ceremony where he states his piece. But every other chapter, this book seems like it's more evenly spread out. And everything is, it's your main characters, it's your supporting character. Every storyline seems to be like the main storyline until you move on to the next chapter. That's what it feels like writing Skyfall. Even bringing back the Carters. There was an opening to tap into, hi Cooper, there was an opening to tap into that world again. And I wanted to have something where it was almost like a parallel universe, 2 different Atlantas, side by side. And Junie's walking with Pyru in the parking lot, and he's telling them, as the rest of the Carters are heading inside, because Olivia came, she stopped by. And that's going to click to a whole nother story that I may never write. But in my head, it's already written. And I know why she's there. And I know who she came with. But Junie's walking with Pyru in the parking lot. And, he's telling I know you ready to go back home to your wife. It's crazy. The drama's about to begin on this side of the family. It's a good thing you're leaving. You don't really need to see all this. But, you should stop by. Telling sentimental stuff. Hey, I'm your uncle. But I'm also, I'm cool. You can talk to me. Junie is mature. He's maturing. It's nice to see. And Pyru, he's finally accepting that olive branch. He's finally maybe I can come around more. And Junie's I could really use a break from all this the magical world of Sky, as he says. And then he's these people have no idea what's really going on in Atlanta. And I'm right there, that part right there is where the 2 worlds kind of collide, but they don't touch. The Carter world will never touch. You will never hear me talk about the Carter boys and even mentioning the word magic, root work, because that's just not their world. And it should never be their world. The same way with the Sky Sisters, the Sky series, the Moon series. I would never talk about, music industry, sex trafficking, all this stuff. Like, that's not their world. It just has nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with them. So I never want the two to cross, but I want them to be side by side to where it's possible that these two can coexist together. And it is possible. It happens. They go heavy feet. I feel like I wanted to just kind of master that in Skyfall before I put it out. And I feel like I'm almost there. I may add a few more sprinkle of details, but I feel like I almost got it right to where this is perfect to publish. But the last scene I worked on is with the mermaids, with Bodhi. And even though I'm calling them mermaids, but it's not really focused. Like in fantasy, they have the water run. You see them in the water. And this one, they're just regular. You don't really see all of that. You wouldn't know they're mermaids unless they get in the water. And in this book, they're not getting in the water. Because I want to keep it as realistic as possible. Like, I don't even want to... I get it's a fantasy, supernatural book. I'm trying to add everything in there. Even with the angel stuff, I didn't want to really focus too much on the fact that they might have wings, Now, my horsemen, that's a whole different story. It's their story. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I did that to myself. Because Adora, her storyline, it's important to the story. I will say that. It's very important. Like, she is the reason why the story ends. Not because I have her in a story district, but she's the one that kind of wraps it all up. So the horsemen in the story, and I know I'm probably going to get a lot of confused readers. They'll be in the reviews like, I didn't really get the horsemen. But to me, they represent symbolism in the story. Like, she and her sisters, they observe all this stuff happening, the chaos, these storylines and these characters, they observe from a distance. And they just kind of come to this spiritual but logical, it comes from a spiritual but logical perspective, I haven't figured out how to tie all of it together, to be honest. I wrote the end, but it's a very loose draft. Like, it just says the horseman, Fowler, at her doorstep, cries, suicide, and then there's another draft where it says horseman, then shot. Like, it's just broken up sentences like that, because I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it, but I know, I see it, I hear the gunshot, I hear Fowler crying, like, I hear all of that. So I don't know. Adora, I do see Adora being the fourth and final girl to Jasmine, Tallulah, Kayla, little tribe, their pack. She will be the fourth one, because she's going to be the girl that ends up with Fowler. And Fowler knows this. He knows this, because this is what Yuma told him. Like, she was your moon run. You were talking about you missed the moon run because you were in Georgia. No, she's a part of it. You got to figure out why. And he's like, timing is everything. And in this case, timing, everything, like, I hope readers catch on to the timing of how Skyfall ends. Everything happens, like, the little things that don't happen is what you got to pay attention to. And hopefully I can explain that in the next podcast as I write the end. But, because if I say it now, then I don't write it, and then it's going to be some bullshit. So I just, whatever. But timing is everything, and that's all I can say. Otherwise, after this, I'm done. Finito, fini, très fini. I am fait très fini. I am just done. I'm done. I don't want to think about writing, and I'm probably going to write even when I'm not supposed to. But what else happened in my life this past week? Yeah, I had an interesting week. I talked with a pretty well-known publisher in the industry of the urban world. Cool call, really cool call, really cool phone call. It was an attempt to sign me, but it was more so for his rebrand versus Yeah, but it just, I already said it didn't benefit me any, but I get it. 2021, everyone is trying to do something different. The playing grounds after the whole Leo situation. Readers probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Like this is, but any authors that are listening, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. After that whole debacle on Amazon, it seems like the playing grounds are even, and it's like fair. It's like fair game for everybody. But that's what it felt like at least. But now it seems like going into this year, I think authors are slowly starting to sign again. Maybe they're hesitant a little bit because it's a bit traumatizing of what happened last time. Nobody wants to have their books snatched down. You know, how do you trust publishers again? You know, yeah. We had a really good talk. Really cool guy, but it's a no for me in terms of signing with a company. It's a no. I've been doing this stuff on my own since 2014. Um, I would love to have my own company, but one, I'm too childish. Two, it's entirely, and I would never do it, but this is the reason why I would never do it, because it's entirely too easy to steal from authors. It's just, this whole publishing industry is like one big theft from Amazon on down. So it's like one big fraudulent scam. But that's neither here or there. I'm in it. I like to write stories, and it's working out. So, but yeah, I would one day, if I was like business savvy, I would totally run like a brand, like a publishing company, but more so indie. It wouldn't be anybody signed to me, but I would definitely like to have like and I talked about this with a few authors. I would love to have like a group, and I think there's authors that already do this. They have their own group of authors that they get together and they push this one brand that they're under, this one umbrella that they're under, but everybody gets their own money. Everybody, you know. But it's still, because like I told him, I was like, it's like the benefits of signing with a publisher, man, you have access to unlimited networking, readers from all different, your sister authors, your brother authors, the publishers, readers. Like, you have access to all of that. Indie authors, we are in it by ourselves. We have to promote, we got to do everything by ourselves. But the beauty of that is everything we make goes right back to us. So what you put in is what you get out, is what I say. And I prefer that route. But let's see, what else happened this week besides writing in a new year? I don't know, you guys. I'm really happy. I can't wait for people to read Skyfall and to hopefully just be like, oh man, this was so worth the wait. Yeah, this is so worth the wait. I'm sure there's gonna be a few that's in my inbox now, like, sis, can you write another one? Can you do this? No, we good. We gotta move on from this magic shit. I'm tired of it. I'm gonna leave it to them other authors. I can't do this no more. Cannot do this anymore. Now that we're in this new year, my first book that I'll release, Skyfall, I'm looking at a MLK date or sooner. However quick I can, as soon as I finish these last 4 to 5 chapters, I turn it into the editor. As soon as she hands it back to me, it shouldn't take no more. It does not, for me, it won't take no more than a day or two to go over the edit and add some few things. Make sure I got everything, make sure everything lines up. Whenever I get that back, I'm saying MLK to give me some room, but whenever I get that back and she's done, we could be, whenever, as soon as I say, all right, I'm uploading it that same day. So, as soon as I approve the edits and go over it, it's going to be uploaded that same day. So the days don't really matter to me. I'd like to upload on Sundays, I noticed, but it really doesn't matter to me. But yeah, Podcast Sundays. This is the first Sunday of the year, and I stuck with my first episode. Now we just got to throw this shit on YouTube. And I got to get to editing and writing and doing all this other stuff and getting back to my Korea drama my K-dramas that I like to watch. Other than that, let's finish this damn book, y'all. We got some reading to do. Y'all got some reading to do. Let's hurry up and get this book out so y'all can read it and I can just disappear in peace from the publishing world and just come back like, all right, y'all, I'm ready. Now I'm ready. I'm ready to write on my own time. No more series. This is my last series. This is my last everything. From For the Love of ATL all the way to Skyfall. This is it. After that, who knows what's next. But we'll see. Over and out.